Ooh-wee! What a game. If you weren't entertained on that one, then you are not a fan of hockey. Dash here from Heavy Hockey and straight off the pipe on the Heavy Hockey Network. I'm here doing the post-game show tonight for Heavy Hockey, the April 9th Colorado Avalanche Edmonton Oilers edition, where the Oilers unfortunately lose 2-1 in overtime to the Colorado McKinnons. This is a playoff game from the start. You know, if you're an Oilers fan, you might not like the results, although 1 point isn't anything to scoff at versus the best team in the NHL. But I tell you, if you're a fan of hockey, you had to be entertained. That was a track meet. There was absolute action from end to end. You saw big hits, you saw goaltending, you saw big saves, you saw skilled plays. You know, I talk about that being a very big, our biggest playoff style test season to date. And, you know, it was a good test for us. And I think, you know, that's twice we've taken Colorado to overtime in 2 games. It's also twice that Nathan McKinnon has beat us in overtime out of those 2 games in as many games. But that playoff style was evident to me. There was a lot of physicality, 57 total hits. You know, there was a lot of fast pace, limited real estate. I thought the Oilers looked smothered for a lot of the game. Still persevered through it, just couldn't get the puck in the net. But I think they really had to fight for their real estate earlier. And ultimately, you know, the biggest thing I thought was the refs put their whistles away. That's what made it feel like playoff hockey the most to me. You know, they almost didn't call more than 1 penalty each right up until the end of the game, but I'll get to that later. You know, it just 2 playoff style goals. You know, there was a deflection, also a kind of a lucky bounce, I guess you'd say, off a Rantanen or a nice play, and then just an absolute elite finish to go top cheddar where Grandpa hides the Playboys there. And ultimately, unbelievable finish, lucky bounce to get to him, in my opinion. Maybe that karma is owed to Colorado after going straight off the pipe 3 times in the first period. But it is what it is. You know, ultimately, I was extremely excited for this game going in. You know, especially the test that it would be, even though, you know, they didn't have Landeskog and they didn't have Kadri. Oh, did I mention that Kadri not being in the lineup is another reason it felt like the playoffs? See what I did there? You know, but the way this was set up was, you know, 2 of the best teams in the NHL. I don't think there's any 2 teams playing better hockey right now than the Colorado Avalanche and the Edmonton Oilers. And I mean it. There's, you know, the Oilers are the hottest team in the NHL and the Colorado Avalanche are the best team in the NHL. The Oilers are bringing in a 6-game winning streak with the Avalanche bringing in a 5-game winning streak. The Oilers are the 7th highest scoring team in the league. The Avalanche are the 3rd highest scoring team in the league. The Oilers have the 4th best power play in the league, and Colorado has the 5th. They have the 2 best winning percentages in the NHL after scoring first. Kuemper has the best save percentage in the entire NHL since January 1st. Mikko's 9-3 since Woodcroft took over. Over the last 2 seasons, Colorado's 13-1-4 on the 2nd game of back-to-backs. And the Oilers are 17-3 versus opponents on the 2nd game of back-to-backs. This was lined up to be an absolute natural disaster hitting another natural disaster, except, you know, it just didn't have the scoring, which just lends to tell you that the goal tending was the absolute most important thing in the game, and it was the key to the game. So, you know, let's just kind of review a few quick things. You know, I thought the good things for me were, obviously, like I just segued to, Mikko Koskinen having one of his top 3 games of the season. You know, and it's not going to be very often he plays like that. And it's not going to be very often that he plays like that and loses. He might have been the better goaltender. I know that Kuemper stopped more pucks, but I thought that the saves that Koskinen made were a lot more timely, and they were when they really needed them. And how about that penalty kill with 2 minutes left, and Koskinen keeping him in that? So I think that was probably one of the best goaltended games I've seen in a long time, to be honest. Back and forth, I can't remember one off the top of my head. Kuemper certainly showed why he was considered for the Olympic team at one point in time. Another good thing, as I alluded to, was that penalty kill with 2 minutes left. My heart sunk when that penalty got called. Here we are with a game that had very little penalties, and here, 1-1, they'd gotten away with some, we'd gotten away with some, and you're going to call something at 2 minutes and 20 seconds left? Wow. I don't want to really pick on any bad things in this game just because it was so amazing. But, if I was, and I don't want to pick on JP because he played a great game. He really played a great game. He's been playing pretty decent hockey. It looks like his confidence is a little shaken as far as offensively goes, but I think he's always in the right position. He keeps plays moving. He's a thief with a puck. But JP, pick a corner. Aim somewhere other than his chest. Put a little finish in your finish. Dude, Connor set you up for 2 or 3 grade A chances. Draisaitl buries all of those. I'm not kidding. And, if Connor McDavid feeds Austin Matthews 4 of those, Austin Matthews probably scores on 6. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe how grade A those shots were. And for him to not score. So there was, a lot of big saves back and forth. Honorable mention on the bad is that I, quite honestly, didn't even realize Zach Kassian played until I went to review the score sheet before I recorded this. He's got to pick it up before the playoffs come. We need that Wolverine back, or I'm not sure what's going to happen with him. Dash's super stat of the night is the shots were 11-0 in overtime. 11-0 in overtime. And we lost. How many times are you going to see 11-0 in overtime and the team lose? Unbelievable. I'm not sure which team deserved to win tonight. I thought we outplayed them, in the second period for sure. But when you get 11 shots in overtime and on a power play nonetheless, and you can't score, and Nuge could have buried that one. Oh, I jumped out of my couch. Honorable mention for the Dash of Super Stat might also be that we held McKinnon to 1 shot. 1 goal, but 1 shot. I got a WTF moment, which I've kind of brought up a few times. How did the referees stick their whistles and just put them away for 58 minutes of the game and then call half of the game's penalties in the last 2 minutes of the game and overtime? I just thought that was something I hadn't seen. It just kind of was a little bit of oxymoronic or something. But, and I'm not saying McKinnon didn't deserve that penalty. He'd already got away with one, but just seemed a little ticky-tacky based on some of the things that the guys had already gotten away with. So my heavy hockey moment of the night was the shift when Draisaitl just decided to put the game in his hands. He got hit maybe once or twice where I'm sure he expected a call from the refs, and when he looked over and he didn't see it, he went full Ginla. I'm sure you guys all know the shift I'm talking about. You could see him step it up from about a 7 to an 11.5. He plowed over, I can't remember who it was, and then goes and throws that reverse hit a la Peter Forsberg on Burakovsky in the corner. That looked like a Marvel movie. It looked like Clint Eastwood shot Burakovsky from the stands with a shotgun. He literally flew back in the air for like 3 meters. And from that point on, Dry took the game into his own hands. And I thought that he played unbelievable from that point. Again, just held off the score sheet. So I just want to bring up a small coincidence on the night as well. The Bakersfield Condors also played Colorado tonight, the Colorado Eagles though. But I just thought it would be worth mentioning that Ryan Fanti got his first ever professional hockey league win. Might not have been the way he drew it up with a 6-5 victory against the Colorado Eagles, but I'd say he'd take a win no matter what, especially given the lineup they had. Listen to this. Bakersfield was missing Lavoie, Perlini, Holloway, Broberg, Samorukov, and Philip Kemp got stretchered off halfway through the ice. He gave us a thumbs up, so let's hope he's okay. That's it. That's all I got for tonight. I think that's one of the best games I've seen. Puts us in a decent enough spot. we're comfortable in front of Los Angeles. We're 4 points ahead, 6 points ahead of Vegas. All of Vegas, the Kings and us have played their 73 games. Dallas is 6 points behind. It's a close race from 3rd to 8th, but I'd say we're in a good position to end up against the Kings. It looks like we're destined. So I look forward to seeing how we play the next 9 games, how we play these out. I'd say we need at least 6 or 7 points in those 9 games, which shouldn't be that tough to do the way we're playing. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being a fan of us. Thanks for being a fan of heavy hockey. If you're watching on YouTube, and I think you are, please, when you stop and please just hit the subscribe button. We hate asking, but man, we love the support. Other than that, to close, I'm going to say dump, chase, cycle, and get off the ice. That's heavy hockey. And on behalf of heavy hockey, good night, everybody. Let's go Oilers.